loud enough. Much better. We'll let them play music. No. There you go. Okay.
What?
I don't know. It says this one.
Do I have to turn it on?
On the bottom. Left to right. Not on the bottom.
Hello, Mom. Oh, do you want to help? How can you young people see things like that? Hi, everyone. I'm Chuck Huber.
Look, look at me over there. I'm also over there, too. Wait. Camera, stay still. Wait, camera, stay still again. Hold on. On the camera. My name is Chuck Huber, and I am a voice actor. I also occasionally act with my legs and elbows. I act on television and film. Hi, yay, hi. Hi, ready? Dragon of the Darkness, flee! Oh, look, and there's Sky, too. Soul Force! That's the cutest reaction to Soul Force ever. Soul Force! None of my enemies have that reaction. Can you imagine Medusa? Soul Force! Medusa's like... Although Medusa's totally hot, right? Medusa's, she's cute. Welcome to my Q&A panel, where you get to Q and I get to A. Right? So, what I like to do usually, you just take a picture of me. Do I look good? Alright. Just making sure. Are you recording me? Is that a video recording camera that's right now? Is that what you're doing? Are you recording video? Let me see this. Hi. Hi, how are you doing? This is what everyone looks like. This is what you look like, freaking out because I stole your phone. I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and, well, okay. This is what my boogers look like. Okay, here you go. Give that back to you now. So what I usually like to do, I usually like to start off with, I don't know, like answering questions that you guys will normally ask me. Like, I've done this a lot. So people ask me regular questions like, Chuck, how did you get into voice acting? Right? How many of you want to know that? Raise your hand. Okay, seven. Okay, the rest of you are just gonna have to suffer through this answer. So, I was an actor in Chicago. I started off, I was an actor in the womb. Probably, as like a baby in the womb, I was like, alas, poor Yorick. Actually, there's all that amniotic fluid, so it's more like... But I was acting as a young child. I mean, we're all really good actors as children, right? Because as a child, we pretend, and that's essentially the essence of acting. Acting is pretending. And if you trick yourself into thinking you're really believing something, that's the best acting in the world. And children do that all the time. They can be like, destroy your missile. Yeah, I did just make the microphone, it's okay. What are you doing? What's happening? What's going on? Am I in your way? You're stealing my stand? Oh, if they want to ask questions, oh, look at you being smart with your technical expertise. What's your name? Give Rachel a round of applause. The staff here is kind of amazing. Ohayocon staff works really hard. So whenever you see them, like, and nobody ever does this, but if you see a staff member today, just randomly go up and say, thanks, you guys are doing a great job. It'll mean a lot to them. And they'll be like, it was weird. People were thanking us. And then they'll be freaked out, and they'll probably have you thrown out because they think you're all gross. No. Okay. So I started acting as a child, you know, pretending. That's where we all start. Oh, Rachel's back again. Give her another round of applause. Turn down the microphone. Let's check this. It does. Yeah, that works. Yeah. But, you know, I was, you know, my brothers and I used to do, like, puppet shows, and we do charades. Anyone play charades anymore? Because charades is an awesome game. And it's a great way to, like, I never see people playing charades in the hallway at conventions. I think there should be more charades happening. Just personally. I've started? Start it. All right. Maybe we'll play charades at the end of this. We'll save like 10 minutes for a couple of rounds of charades. Teaching kids how to play old school games. Back before there was electricity, when I was a child. There was electricity when I was a child. I'm not that. How old do you think I am? 44. Don't hurt me. I know. You never want to do that. People are like 57. Like, I'm gonna cry now. But I went to school at DePaul University too. Thank you, Sarah. Give her a round of applause. I went to DePaul University in Chicago at the Goodman School of Drama and studied acting there. So that's all I did. It's kind of an awesome conservatory acting program. You act from 8 in the morning till like 11 at night. I really have to set this sucker down. 8 in the morning till 11 at night. And I left school my third year to work at the Steppenwolf Theater and the Goodman Theater. We decided we didn't want to raise them in the city, so we moved to back by my family in Fort Worth, Texas. And I started a theater company there. And one day, a friend of mine came into the rehearsals, and he was like, hey man, you should go audition for this Dragon Balls thing. And I was like, Dragon Balls? Sounds naughty. And he was like, no, it's Japanese anime. And I was like, definitely naughty. I know, dude, it's cool. Call this guy, his name's Chris Savage. You should give him a call and he'll set up the audition. So I was like, okay. And I called this dude, and you know, yeah, hello, yes. I was like, hey, my friend told me I should call to set up an audition. Oh, yeah, you can audition, when you want to come in, like 4 o'clock tomorrow or 5 or today, when it'd be good, man, yeah, you should come in and, hold on, I gotta find a pen. Well, what's your name? I should write your name down on a piece of paper. Hold on a second. I got a pen now. What do you think, like how about 4 o'clock tomorrow, is that good? Yeah, okay. Okay, that's great, man. That is awesome. You are Chuck, and 4 o'clock tomorrow, and I will, yeah. So, okay, something's on fire, I gotta go. Like, that is the weirdest audition booking I've ever had in my life. So I thought it was really weird, because he didn't tell me where to go, so I had to call him back. Yeah, hi, it's Chuck. I booked an audition, but I don't know where to go. Oh, yeah, man, I was totally going to call you back, but all I had was your name and the time, so I couldn't call you back. But, you know, yeah, we're at, do you know North Richland Hills? We're at a bank. Building. Like, it's the bank building. Here, the address is 4234 820. Okay? So see, I'm like, okay, bye. And it was like, coming from Chicago, I was all used to like super professional auditions. Hello, this is Casting Associates, you know? And this is just a dude named Chris, like, taking auditions, having a hard time finding a pen and things were on fire. So I was like, that doesn't sound like a real audition. That sounds like a scam. Like, it's not really going to be anything real. So like the next day, it was one of those bad days where it was like, gosh, you know, my bank account was overdrawn. There was one of those overdrawn accounts. How many of you ever had your bank account overdrawn, right? Okay, it's one of those where it goes overdrawn by like 11 cents.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a pack of gum. $34 pack of gum. Why don't I get a coffee? $34 coffee. You know, and I think I'll also, you know, let's just need some chips. $34 bag of chips. It's like I wish I would have bought all that at one time instead of spending on. So I was like mad, like overdrawn, poor. I'm driving to the audition and it starts raining and I get a flat tire. So I'm like, oh God. It's like almost rush hour traffic, you know, and I'm on the side of the highway like changing the tire. Like, God, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not gonna go to this stupid audition. This stupid bank building on fire, can't find a pin audition. I don't want to do it. And then I heard, you know, like that inner voice and Chuck, go to, it was like, it's Chuck, it was like Vic Mignogna's voice. Chuck, go to the audition or you'll never be in Star Trek Continues. So I was like, yes. It wasn't Vic's voice, but we all have that sort of inner voice that tells you to do things. If you listen to it, it tells you exactly what you need to do. Like, your brain knows what you should do. Like, they're finding scientifically that your first impression of what you should do is 99% of the time the right thing to do. And then you talk yourself out of the right thing to do. It's like, you know, some friends like, I've got some drugs and a car and we're gonna drink and drive fast, and you're like, no. And then you're like, they're not gonna think I'm cool. Oh, maybe I can get, like, you talk yourself into bad things, you talk yourself out of good things. Like, hey, do you want to come join this production that we're doing? Your instant reaction is yes, and then you're like, no, people, I'm not sure, what if they laugh? All those sort of negative thoughts. So you have that initial first thought, and then the other thoughts that come afterwards. Ignore all those other thoughts. Always go with that first thought. So I went to the audition, and I got the role of Garlic Jr. I'm gonna push you into the dead zone. Which was awesome, because I'd never played a short blue alien before. I mean, not on camera. But the anime thing was amazing because I'd done all this like sort of classical, you know, Shakespeare, like television work where I don't know, I always played crazy people. I don't know, one of my first television roles, I played a child serial killer. That was fun. But yeah, so I didn't think this anime thing was anything at the time, and I was like, okay, I guess that happened. I hope the check cashes. I didn't think, you know, anything of it. And then it kept going on, and they kept calling me in for things, and I was like, okay, I guess it's cool. And I didn't know DBZ had gotten popular or was on the television. And then we started doing Yu Yu Hakusho, and I played Hiei. And then they went, this is the second question people usually ask me. They're like, what's your favorite character you've played, Chuck? And I usually say all of them. But if I had to pick one, if you had to say, Chuck, you can only go forward into the future with one of your characters, which one would it be? And it would be Hiei. Because I have okay, it'd also be Dr. Stein. Don't worry, I just need Hiei and Dr. and Kululu and Hiro and also Android 17 and Shao Tiger. But I had never it's never too soon. If you guys want to later, I'm up in Artist Alley. I have my little Nina Alexander plushie. If you can come pet her. So sad. But yeah, Hiei is my favorite character because I'd never been to a convention before, and I was up at Funimation, and they were like, hey, we want to take you to a con. I was like, awesome! What's a con? They're like, it's a place where people cosplay. I'm like, wow! Would you please use English words? They're like, you'll figure it out. I was like, great. They're like, we're gonna buy you a plane ticket. I was like, awesome! And give you a hotel room. I was like, what? I'd never had anyone buy me a plane ticket and a hotel room ever in my life. And then I was like, well, what am I gonna do once they get there? Would I just like pass out flyers? Watch Yu Yu Hakusho. It's a great show. Watch my show. And they're like, no, Chuck, you're gonna sign autographs. And I was like, you're stupid. And they're like, no, Chuck, you're stupid. And I was like, you don't know, because I was an industry professional. I had been working as a professional actor for 10 years at this point, and this little anime company didn't know what they were doing. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, but you're gonna feel so stupid. And we get there, and we went to this tiny little convention in San Diego called Comic-Con. And it was, you know, massive, and I was like, I've always heard about this place. And it was amazing, and you know that they queue the autograph line up away from you, so it's not at your table. So I sat down at the table, and I was like, see, there is no one here, you so stupid. And they were like, no, Chuck, look, that is your line hanging from them. And I was like, what in God's name happened? And then they like, you know, let the people come up to the table, and I was like, and like the first like 4 minutes were terrifying because those people were in line for a long time. Had to pee, obviously, because they were like, and I was like, oh, and they were like, sign this, I love you. And I was like, I will sign it. Sorry. And you know, I'd never signed an autograph before, so you're like, do you want the middle name too? Cody? No. Okay.
Oh my God.
Now stop crying. And they were like, Chuck, you're gonna have to do that a lot faster. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. That's where you get your, like, you know, this is my autograph. So like for the next 12 minutes, people got really weird autographs from me because, you know, you're trying out your like star autograph thing. I'm like, I bet I can put a rocket at the end of humor. Oh no, that looks stupid. So like you got really weird ones, and then you kind of settle on like regular signature. But these were all my Hiei fans. So that was the first time I met fans. So that's why Hiei is special to me. But it was interesting. After like 20 minutes, I was like, oh. This is just all my friends from high school, and the magic interwebs allows them to talk together and gather in a single place to meet, you know, because we as voice actors get to be sort of the representatives, the three-dimensional representatives of these two-dimensional characters, this art form. We're really blessed to be either someone's ringtone is really loud or there's a fire. All right, that sounded good. So we get to be the three-dimensional representations of these characters that you love. So it's kind of a, you know, an awesome thing to be like, oh, I get to be Hiei for you guys, which is awesome. So Hiei is my favorite character for that reason. And then probably the third question people always ask me, which is, what do you typically add to your clam chowder? And I'm not going to share that information. Clams. Obviously. So now it's your guys' turn. You can ask me questions. Yes.
Okay, so probably because there aren't many people of color to voice act, how do you feel as a major voice actor when you have African American characters or characters of color in anime and they have to be voiced by somebody who isn't of color?
That's absolutely, and I'm not going to swear, but that's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they don't hire black people for black roles because.
Do you know why that is?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know. No, that's a great. That is something that has bothered me for a long time. This is what I'm going to say. I don't know how to say this delicately. We're in Texas. The company was started by an Asian man and some bubbas who shoot guns. So it started racist. It's not anymore, but it sort of started that way, probably. You know, just not intentionally, but just like, we're white. We only talk to white people, so let's hire white people. But yeah, it is ridiculous. I think there's maybe been one or two people of color. African American typically. There's Asians and there's Hispanics who work at Funimation. But yeah, you're right. I never see a blackface at Funimation. Someone should write a letter. All right, good. This isn't being videotaped. No, I'm kidding. I'm glad for it. Yes.
That actually sounds more like a good lawsuit to me.
I don't think you could lawsuit over it because people can hire whoever they want, especially in an acting thing. But all you have to do is say, if you were to write the letter, someone should do a YouTube video of all the black characters from Funimation and how, like cut them together in a row and show how none of them were voiced by black African American people, and then find all the African American actors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, because what you want to do is have an immediate thing to offer them, because what they will say is they just don't audition or something like that. But you should be able to seek them out to have. It's the same way I feel about people with disabilities when there's. Gary Oldman famously played a little person in a movie about little people, and it's like, dear God, there's all these little people who are actors, or people who are deaf, not being played by deaf actors, because I have a lot of deaf actor friends. Yes?
So I watched this thing called Death Battle with Iron Man versus Lex Luthor, and I want to know, how did Screw Attack manage to get you on board to voice Iron Man?
They sent me an email. They said, they sent a bunch of people emails and said, hey, would you like to, and I have to say, I think I was the first, sort of professional voice actor that they hired. One of the very first, legit, and then after me, Todd Haberkorn, Chris Sabat, a bunch of other guys have done it, so I kind of cracked the door for that. But yeah, they sent an email and said, would you like to audition for this? And I said, Tony Stark? Yes.
You in that role.
I'm sorry?
I totally see you as a Tony Stark type character.
Thank you. I see myself as Tony Stark every morning. Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark is pretty awesome. So it's an amazing thing to get to. How many of you watched Death Battle? You guys watch it? Yeah, okay, so Death Battle, that's Screw Attack, and then Red versus Blue, that's Rooster Teeth. I think they've merged now, and they're starting to do live action productions, and I actually just drove to Austin last week to audition for Rooster Teeth for one of their webisodes. Really, really smart. And this is the new thing about this economy that's happening, that's amazing, the new entertainment industry, which is guess what? You, in your little room, going, I'm going to pick Iron Man versus Lex Luthor, and do because they were really simple animation at the beginning. Now it's become more and more complex. And suddenly, the fandom grows up underneath these sort of creatives, and then they get to do a live action thing, and they already have the fan base there, and everybody gets to watch it. So the fans are having a lot more say in what gets made, which is awesome. Yes?
What's your favorite anime character?
My favorite anime character that's not me? Let's see, the favorite anime character that's not me is probably... Speed Racer.
I like him too.
I like Speed Racer. Yes?
When you voice Android 17, what would you say would be your favorite quote from him?
Humans are stupid. Android 17 was a fun one, because before that I had done Garlic Jr., which was I'm Garlic Jr. And then I came in to audition for Android 17, and it was I had this idea that I was going to be I'm Android 7, I had all this energy and Sabat was
No, just relax, just don't.
I'm I'm Android.
No, man, just chill out, just don't do anything.
I'm Android.
He's like, no, just read the lines and don't even think about it. And I was like,
I'm Android 17, I'm gonna kill you. He's like, perfect! Dude, I'm not even acting. He's like, I know, that's why I love it. Okay. Yes.
Can you still do your
Yes.
So you're in Star Trek,
Yes.
but you weren't in Star Trek for the first 2 episodes.
That's correct.
How did you come about to playing Bones for episode 3 and onwards?
I was actually there's vignettes that we shot first before episode 1. I was in the vignettes. They asked me to do Dr. McCoy in Star Trek Continues. And I said yes. And it's a free thing. It's just hey, if you're free, come out. And back then it was even can you bring some food for everybody? So everybody pitch in and help. And then I got cast in a movie that Tom Hanks was producing called Parkland. And so I was like, Vic, I have to do this movie. And he was like, I'm sorry, we've already scheduled. I'm going to hire my other friend to do it. And then Larry Nemechek did it for episode 1 and episode 2. And the fans were like, we love everything. And Larry's a little weak on the acting. Like, it's not as skilled as Chuck was. Because they'd already seen me in the vignettes. So they already had that established. So I said, I let Vic know. I actually told Vic, I said, look, I'm sorry it didn't work out for the role. I'd love to come out and help and do whatever. So for episode 2, I was the first assistant director, the first AD, which is sort of like the stage manager of the production. And so I was the first AD on episode 2, and then episode 3, he had a talk with Larry, and Larry was very gracious. And I think he even let it be Larry's decision and said, like, we've got this thing, it's going to be an amazing thing, and Chuck's a professional actor, and Larry graciously stepped aside and let me come back into my role, so that was awesome. Yes?
If one of your anime characters had to play Dr. McCoy, who would it be and why?
Well, obviously it'd be Dr. Stein. I'm a dissector, not a doctor.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought. I'm like, he'd be good for Stein because they're both doctors.
Yeah, actually, I got to be a little bit of Dr. Stein in Dr. McCoy in episode 3 of Star Trek Continues, because it's the Mirror Universe episode, and Dr. McCoy is evil Dr. McCoy. So it was kind of fun. Yes, all the way back there. Crazy stories, no, I don't really, there's not a lot of crazy, there's not like, oh, that's a wacky crazy story. I don't have a lot of crazy stories in my life, but Vic and I, whenever he's in town in Dallas-Fort Worth, we usually try to get together and have dinner. We definitely always hang out and smoke cigars when we're at a convention together. Todd and I like to see each other when we got time. Chris Sabat and I, like when we do a convention together, we'll make sure to make time for breakfast or whatever. I'm trying to think of who else. That's probably, I'm a family man. I have Jessica, my partner, my future spouse, is an artist, and together between us we have
8 children.
So it's a lot of children to wrangle. And everyone's like, I was kind of attracted to you, and I'm disgusted. But yeah, so we're busy a lot with kiddos and kid stuff. But I don't know, wacky stories. No, not really wacky stories with other voice acting. Although there was one time at Waco Comic-Con, Chris Sabat is a really, really good prankster. And at Waco Comic-Con, his wallet, we were doing a panel together, and his wallet fell out of his pocket, and he left, and it was on the chair right there. And so I took Jessica's old license and replaced it with his license, one behind in the credit card. Took his license, I didn't keep his license. I just hid it deep in the, that sort of side fold of the wallet, and then didn't tell him and was just waiting till because you don't use your license that often. So I was like hoping it'd be like 2 months down the line, you'd have to need to see some ID, and he'd be like, next time he flies or whatever. And he'd be like, oh, I'm not Jessica. Oh God, where's my license? Which happened. So. Yeah. You are forgiven.
Why do you always play sadistic characters?
I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know. I always play crazy people. I think I like playing the crazy people because, and I say crazy, they're not really crazy. I think if you're normal in this world, the world that we live in, if you walk around and are like, I like to go to my cubicle, and sit, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think you might be a little off. And the people who are like, I dress like a giant orange sometimes, or whatever. That's I think a more honest, natural reaction to this world. The crazy characters are fun because they, like finding out why they're not crazy, why they think they're sane, is always very interesting to me as an actor. To figure out why they think what they're doing is right, why they think what they're doing is correct. Yes?
Yeah, so it's already 11:30. You know if we're gonna play charades anytime soon?
Oh, it's already, you're already pushing for the charades?
It's 11:30, so.
We got a half hour.
Yeah.
We'll answer some more questions, then we'll do a little charades. Yes? You're a little nervous? Let me make it worse! Hi! Yeah, I'm hugging you and everyone's laughing. Does that make it better? No, it makes it much worse. It's okay. I'll be right here with you. Now I'm stepping on your toes. Now I'm stepping on your other toes. Go ahead, try to breathe. Okay, you're running through a forest.
Oh, I've seen this one before.
Wait, I'm gonna sit on your lap. Okay, I'll stop. I just like it when people are nervous to be like, well, you have to suffer the nervousness. We might as well amp it up to 11 so you can be like, I totally survived that. What did you just say? Squeak, squeak, squeak. I can't breathe. Okay, hold on. I said dead puppies. Dead puppies. Dead puppies. Everything. That's not helping. You're sick. Sick. She's laughing at dead puppies. Edward Elric. If I could play any other character, it'd be Edward Elric. Brother! I've totally ruined that anime. And then Vic would be Shao Tucker.
Oh dear.
It's my daughter. We just destroyed Full Metal Alchemist. I like, you know, I would like to be in more anime. I'm kind of busy. The thing around the studios, like Chuck's always doing movies and television and film work. So they occasionally find stuff, new stuff for me to be in. But I've been recently saying, hey, I'm in town. I don't do a lot, so you put me in more anime. So I've started doing more stuff up there. But yeah, I don't like, you see other actors and see them in their roles and you're like, nah, I don't think I can do better than that. Because they're really good. All the actors up there are really fine artists. Yes, question away. Right. I do yoga. I just said do. I do yoga. I just said do again. Yeah, my yoga teacher just recently died. The teacher of my teacher just recently died. Iyengar, a famous yoga practitioner, famous, sort of peaceful person. I do practice yoga. I've started doing yoga on the trampoline. So I'm inventing and doing, people are like, it's Bikram yoga, it's hot yoga, it's this yoga, it's that yoga. I've started, because like the trampoline's all like squishy, and like it's also wobbly, which means it's like to do I've started doing headstands on the trampoline, which is really a lot harder, like you have to have a lot more core strength to do it. So it's, yeah, I don't know if I could do a panel. I'd be afraid I'd hurt somebody. Because I'm not really a yoga instructor. I just do the practice that I was taught all the way back when I was 18. I really haven't been back to practice with the teachers since I was 21 or 22. So this is 22 years ago. But yeah, I highly recommend the yoga as a way of making your body happier. Yes, next to Tom. Blooper story? Not blooper stories. People sometimes ask what's the weirdest thing that happened to you at a convention. And one time Vic and I were in a panel and this girl raised her hand and she was like, would you and Vic touch my glass eye? And we were like, hell yeah, we're gonna have here. And then we were like, oh my God! Poking this little 15-year-old girl in her glass eye. It was like, oh, that's gross. That's awesome. People walking in like, why are those grown men poking that little girl? It's an anime convention. Okay. She cosplays as a zombie and she'll like pop the tryouts for London. People are like, your cosplay is amazing, your makeup is awesome, how did you do it? She was like, riding my bike when I was 6.
Oh.
But that's the beautiful thing about this place, about conventions, is that it's the place where like all your weirdness ends up being okay. And not only okay, but sometimes the thing you like share the most. Like suddenly it's okay. Like I had a guy who had one leg and he had this like robotic Iron Man leg.
Oh,
you know, like he was like sign it. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, that's a really expensive, how much is that? He's like, it cost $80,000. I was like, that's man, you want me to, it's like signing a Bentley. He's like, sign it, anime saved my life when I had cancer. And I was like, okay. Did you sign this like that? I'm really honored to sign your robot leg. And to touch your glass eye. Yes, question over here. Yes. This is a great question. This is a question a lot of people want to know the answer to. How do you become a voice actor? And there's like several different ways to do it. And I'm going to start with sort of traditional. Like, you want to be a voice actor in anime. Like, that is your goal. That's your life's goal. You're not going to do anything else until you accomplish that goal. And then you're going to go, wow, I can just roll around in money and be happy. Not necessarily. But if you want to work at Funimation, you have to move to Dallas-Fort Worth. Pretty simple. That's step 1. Then step 2 is you have to be an actor. And to be an actor, you audition. You take workshops from casting directors, which eventually will mean you get an agent. You audition for plays. You do whatever play auditions you can do. You sign up for Yahoo film casting groups. This is something I offer to people a lot. Yahoo film casting. There's Austin film casting, Dallas film casting, and Houston film casting groups. There's probably Chicago film casting, which is semi-close to here, or Cleveland film casting, which I know there's a lot of film work that happens in Cleveland. And that's where students, indie artists, networks, major productions, when they get in a bind and they need someone to be in their movie, they put it up on Yahoo Film Casting. And I get like 10 or 12 audition notices a day. And then, you know, like the way I became an actor at Funimation, the joke I would say is if you're a good actor at Dallas-Fort Worth, eventually you'll work at Funimation. Unless you're African American. And then it's going to happen.
Oh.
But you will eventually get to work at Funimation because there's a lot of roles and they need a lot of actors. So that's like the traditional way to get into Funimation, to become a voice actor. And you can do the same thing in LA. The same thing in LA would apply. You take workshops from casting directors. You take workshops from teachers, other industry professionals, and they will take a liking to you and give you advice and tell you where to go next. Because if you're a teacher and someone is your student and they do well as your student, that makes you look good, so you want them to succeed. The second way, the sort of, this is what I call the Team 4-star way, or the Screwback way of getting into voice acting, is if you have a story you want to tell, and you have some way of animating it, or, you know, putting it on a YouTube channel, like if there's a story you would tell, or a character you would do, or something like that that you would do forever, without ever getting paid for it, just because you think it's awesome, and every time you work on it, it makes you and your friends laugh, or cry, or think it's awesome. Do that and share it with the world on YouTube. That's the way the new industry is going. And then the way I believe about the world is that whatever you think is awesome, there's a million people out there who are just like you on this earth. Maybe 10 million. So if you're like, I think, you know, whatever, Mr. Shoe, hi, I'm Mr. Shoe, and you take a video of it, like everybody else who thinks that is also awesome will eventually find you on the internet. And that will be your job for the rest of your life. That's what Screw Attack did, that's what Team 4-Star did, that's what Rooster Teeth did. That's what a lot of people do. Like the top grossing YouTuber is a lady who, I forget what she's called, but she just opens Disney toys. She's like, oh look, this is a beautiful toy, and it has a dress, and I make $40 million a year. And you're like, really? But yeah, kids love stuff. So like, that's the sort of second route into being a voice actor, is to make your own thing happen. Don't wait for permission from anybody to start doing what you believe you want to do for the rest of your life. The very first step is committing to it and saying, I'm going to do that. Nothing's going to stop me. The second step, and this is the part people get wrong sometimes, is they think they have to think of all the ways to do it right so that they don't fail. And the truth is, what you need to do is go out and fail at it as quickly as you can. Pick yourself up and try it again, and fail again, try again, fail. Like if you can go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm, as Winston Churchill says, you will end up succeeding. So the key to success is to fail as quickly as possible, because a lot of us will not even attempt something because we're afraid of failing. If you're okay with failing, that's how you succeed. Yes, Henry.
Are you going to be playing a voice in Dragon Ball series?
Yeah, oh, and Emperor Pilaf, and he comes back in Dragon Ball Super. Oh yes, I get to be Emperor Pilaf. You can clap for Emperor Pilaf. Yes,
So I really wish there was a Homestuck anime, and I think you'd be awesome as Carcat. What do you think the chances that would ever happen?
What do you think I'd be awesome as?
Carcat is a character from Homestuck.
Carcat?
Karkat.
Carcat. Okay. I always, listen, I'll tell you this. Fans, a lot of times, will know where your voice should be placed. And there eventually probably will be a Homestuck anime. Someone should do it. And if they do, I'll be like,
Listen, this dude with the yellow jacket is actually Carcat. So you should totally let me do that.
question way back there. No. Hey, Shaw Tucker, I was like, seems like the right thing to do. I mean, he's really sad. Doesn't want to be picked up. No, I mean, like, there's sort of almost a clinical or medical distance you have as an actor to your characters, because like if you think the character is messed up, if you have a judgment on the character, it makes it harder to play the character. So especially when you're given something that's yours. As a matter of fact, sometimes, this is how twisted actors are, sometimes the more messed up a character is, the more you're like, yes, that's not messed up. I'll figure out why it's awesome. Or why he thinks it's awesome. Yes. Oh my goodness, accents. I love doing voices and accents. This is Austria. Yes, hello. It is good to be here. I love to do dialects. I travel British quite often. I played Ash in Black Butler, and I love to have a British dialect. It makes people think you're more intelligent and more handsome than you actually are. I like to be Irish too. I travel around the Irish sometimes. That usually makes people think you're drunk. I played the Russian person in a movie called American coming out in February. I am a Russian Batman. I like to be Russian. That makes people think you are a drug dealer. I one time went to Poland, and back in the 80s, all terrorists were Eastern European, whereas now they're Middle Eastern, but like in the 80s, they were all Eastern European, and I was on the plane to Poland, and it was like the cast, the bad guys from Die Hard were all coming out of the plane, like, this plane is going down! And I was excited, because I thought it would be awesome. But dialects are easy. The thing about dialects, like if you guys want to do dialect work, the best advice I can give you about dialect work is, it's all online, because dialect is simply changing one American way of saying a vowel or a consonant into the other way of saying, like, the example I always give is in Irish, the I sound turns from I to UH-EEE. So it's I to I. So you change all the I's in a sentence to I's. So it's like, I tried to ride my bike. I tried to ride my bike. And you just practice that one change. You don't worry about any of the other changes. And you just get that one change down where you don't even have to think about it anymore. So that the I's come out naturally every time you say them. And the thing that makes an accent or a dialect sound false is not what you're forgetting to do right, but what you think is right, but is actually wrong. because you think you can kind of just actor your way into the vowel changes, but you'll end up making mistakes, and then the accent or dialect sounds false. So practice one thing, and then listen to other people and repeat them, and practice the phrases, and eventually you'll be an excellent dialectician. Yeah.
What's your favorite line you've had to say as Austria?
Stay away from my vital regions. It made people hurt over there. Yeah.
She said the pressure was on. Okay.
A lot of times we don't even know what we're auditioning for before we come in. They just say, come in for an audition, and you're like, yes sir. And you come in, and then you're like, oh, this is what the show is called. And I will occasionally, like you're sitting there in the lobby, like the way you audition, typically you come in, you sign in, and you say hi to people you know, just hugging. And then like they have these 3-ring binders for the show. They have like a picture of the character, and then lines underneath that picture. A picture of the character, description of the character, and then lines from the character. So then you open it up and you go, oh, that's the show's title. And sometimes I'll take out my phone and Google it and see if I can get any more information about the show, see what the fans think about it, see what the sort of general mood of it is. And then you just look at the character and the description sort of gives you what you need to do. But no, I don't think I spend a lot. The only time I spend a lot of time on a character before I get to the rehearsal process is when I'm doing Shakespeare. Like I'll spend a lot of time learning all the lines and nuances and studying different sort of ideas. Because people have done Shakespeare for so long and it's all out there. You can get all the answers you need. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite anime? Favorite anime?
My favorite anime, and it's the first one that blew my mind when I was young, where you were like, I'm watching cartoons, I'm watching cartoons that are weird. Why are these cartoons different than my cartoon? I don't know, it's in space and they're battleships, that's cool. And then, but that didn't really do it. It was cool, but it didn't like blow my mind. But then the first one that blew my mind was Akira. And I was like, oh my God, story is amazing, art is beautiful. And then it was game on. So Akira is the one that I always go back to as being amazing. Yes. Yeah, and you deal with it every day. The question for those who didn't hear was how do you deal with the disappointment and rejection, and sort of like emphasize the amount of failure you have to go through. I have a rule that I go into an audition as if it's a rehearsal, and I've already got the part. Like this is my part. This is how I would rehearse it right now. This is how I would attack it, and then I leave that audition, with a definite sort of button, thank you, or whatever, and I leave the room, because the audition doesn't end until you're actually out of the room. And then I do my best, or over the years have cultivated the ability to then have the next thing I'm going to think about. What is the next thing I'm doing? And probably the best thing to have to keep you from feeling like you are at the mercy of all these people rejecting you is to have your own project that you're working on, whether it's a film script, or a play script, or a web series, or some project that's within your control. And that always helps me at the end of it, especially a big audition where you're like, this would be a career-changing audition that is hard to get out of your head. One time, there was a movie called Primal Fear that was like Edward Norton's big breakout movie. That was a movie that came down to me and Edward Norton. And I went to screen tested twice for it, so it was like, that was one that was, and that was when I was very, very young, almost impossible to get out of my head. Every day, every morning I'd wake up and think about it and call my agent. And say, no, I haven't heard anything yet. You just have to kind of, but what I discovered there was a theater company I was working with. When I put that energy of like wanting to have control over something I had no control over, there's a lot of energy going towards that. And I sort of diverted it towards what I did have control over, my own project. it makes you forget about it really quickly. You're just not interested in letting your mind sort of spin on top of the thing that you have no control over. Because a lot of times as an actor, you're just a tube of toothpaste on a shelf, and they're like, I don't know, I like that. And they pick an actor, and you don't know why. And it doesn't have anything to do with you. You just have to sort of accept that as part of the career. You just get rejected a lot. You get rejected way more than you get accepted. Yes?
I used to live in Chicago too, and I actually were a fellow alumni at DePaul.
Oh, you went to DePaul? Yeah. Awesome. What dorm were you in first year? Were you in the dorms first year?
No, I did like a distance.
Oh, okay.
More recent, but I just want to ask, so do you miss Chicago?
I miss Chicago a lot. I would love, we just went back for Connaught Delete, and I got to go to a Bulls game, and it went into quadruple overtime, and it was like 42 degrees when we went in, and it was like 11 degrees with the wind chill when we came out. And Jessica had never been in weather that cold before, and it made her cry. So that was sad, but also fun because she survived it. And I'm like, now you know what cold is. And she's like, I will never live here. Yeah, I know. That's kind of why we left too, because the winters are difficult there. Yeah.
You said before that you get rejected a lot. What is one role that you got rejected for that you really wish you would have gotten?
I remember I was Usopp. It was Sunny plays Usopp, right? In One Piece. It was between Sunny and I for Usopp, and it was close. And that was when I was like, oh, I wanted to be in One Piece. And I'm Moji, which is a smaller part, but Usopp, I was like so close. But Sunny does such a great Usopp, I can't be upset about it. And Sunny's just a generally cool dude that I can't, you know. You can't be upset, because that's the thing, is that there's always another role, there's always something else coming. And the other thing is, you're gonna die, like, you're gonna be dead, and you're not gonna be in your deathbed going like, I wish I was Usopp! You're gonna be like, oh, I wish I had more dinners with friends where we drank wine and danced. You know? So like, anytime you start to feel sad about things you don't get, just, the key to ever getting out of any sort of like self-depression or self-loathing is go help someone else. Go be a friend to someone who needs a friend. Find someone you know who's suffering and say, hey, come on, we are gonna go water skiing. And it's like, it's winter. I don't care, we're going. You know, whatever you need, like, whenever you're inside yourself and thinking poor thoughts, get out and do something for somebody else, and instantly you will feel better. We got time for like one more question. Yeah. Yeah, I've not had to reject roles, but there was a time where I was a principal of a Catholic school while recording Yu Yu Hakusho. And then there was a show that came up called, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the Naughty Show. And they were like, I was like, why am I not being called in for this? And they're like, Chuck, trust us, you don't want to be called in for this show. And I was like, why? And they like showed me, and I was like, ah! And so when I was a principal of the school, I wasn't able to audition for some of that stuff because that would be weird. Because the kids would be like, why does our principal have tentacles? Sorry. So I typically don't reject roles, but the producers and directors that I work with know what I would do and would not do. And they always tell you beforehand if there's going to be something that you would have to explain to people later on. All right, guys, you've been awesome. I'm up in Artist Alley. Come visit me up there. Come pet my Nina doll. I also have tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. This is my favorite panel. It's my Game Church panel. And it is like fringe science, conspiracy theory / the world is a video game. This is the religion for the video game. It's like the player's guide to living life. And it uses a lot of sort of interesting science to show you that we have, you actually walk out of it with a superpower. I give you a superpower that you didn't have walking in. So if you want to be a superhero, come to my Game Church panel tomorrow at 11. Thanks, guys. See you.